Right, the Reds, it's Talking Reds. Gareth, Roberts, Craig Hannan. We're going to have a talk about some of the stuff that's in the news today around the Reds. And in the Daily Mirror today, they reckon that Daniel Sturridge is going to run down his contract and go to Tottenham Hotspur. You're obviously a big fan of Daniel Sturridge. You once wrote a piece for the Anfield about 6 years ago, and you're still going on about it now.
It's one of the most read ever, I think, Gareth. I'll have the audience know. It is.
Most read ever by you, because you only wrote one piece.
Me and my mum.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's no surprise that that Sturridge starts to get linked with moves away. I think I've got to say, like, I can't see there being much chance that he gets another deal at Liverpool. I mean, he is on a rumoured £120,000 a week, which puts him among the high earners at Liverpool. On that, by the way, like, I found this list online. I've no idea if it's, like, you know, accurate or anything, but let's talk about it anyway. Yeah, let's talk about it. Well, there's always them leaks, isn't there? And you never, you know. Anyway, so to put it into perspective, according to this list at least, Alisson is also on 120 grand. Mignolet 60, Karius 25. Remember him? Van Dijk 150, Matip 70, Lovren 90. It's all got Clav in here. Gomez 30, Robertson 50. He's got a new deal, I think, maybe since these figures. Moreno 40, Klein now gone 70. Alexander-Arnold 50, Fabinho 100. Van Aalsum 90, Henderson 100, Milner 120, Keita 120, Salah 200 grand. But the point being, it's a big chunk of cash, and for a lad that's just sort of kicking around on the bench. He's only started 6 games this season, been on the bench 13 times, on as a substitute 14 times this season. Like I said, no real surprise if he ends up going at the end of the season, is there?
No, I think Joycey said on one of his pieces that he would go. I love the man, but I love the man, you know, in terms of that. When I think of Daniel Sturridge, I think of all the great things. Like, I think of recently the Chelsea goal. I think of him in 13-14. I think of the goal in the Europa League, one of the great, the Europa League final, one of the great lost goals. And it's just class, isn't it? And that's what I think about when I think of Daniel Sturridge. I don't think of him not being reliable enough in terms of injuries a few seasons ago. I don't think of him as not really doing much when he comes off the bench and not being able to run the way he used to and so on. So I'll be sad to see him go, because I've loved him as a footballer when he's at his best. I wonder what his move is next, really. It's a difficult one, because I think, like, we've seen what happens when he goes to a side that's struggling in the Premier League. It doesn't really work for him. He probably didn't enjoy it that much. I think he said he didn't enjoy it. I almost think a move to someone like Spurs, where he can sort of be the fourth striker, kind of what he's doing now, really, would be the move for him. I don't see him going down the league. I don't see him going outside of England, although I think that might not be the worst decision. Maybe somewhere in Italy, Spain, somewhere like that, just to start fresh. I just don't know what his move is, and it's gotten really that it sort of ends like this. I would love that. I'd love nothing more than for him to finish his time at Liverpool, having won the Premier League, having maybe
champagne moment, come off the bench and score a winner against United, or
maybe another Chelsea moment that we got earlier in the season. I think that'd be a fitting end. But yeah, his next move after that, I'm not sure.
153 games for Liverpool so far, 67 goals. And obviously the high point, 13-14, 24 goals that season. He got 11 in 12-13, he got 13 in 15-16, and then it sort of dropped off quite significantly since then. So 7 in 16-17, 3 in 17-18, 4 in 18-19 so far. So that's where we are with him. Elsewhere then, and I could have gone through more salaries, but let's not do that. Let's talk about Andy Robbo. There's a piece with him today on Liverpool's website. And now we sort of heard some of this story before about the idea that, you know, he was rejected by Celtic, and then he sort of had to go and work part-time and sort of graft away and come back up, if you like, come back up through part-time football and Scottish football and work his way up, Dundee United, Hull, Liverpool, and now he's an absolute belter, and people are talking about, you know, PFA Player of the Year, well, Team of the Year and things like that. But But yeah, he's talking about those days when he was playing. He says he pleaded with his family to allow him a year of semi-pro football and part-time work. He says a lot of parents might have said no. At the start, they were quite happy with me not having a job, and so was I, because the plan was to go to the gym during the day and bulk up, because I was quite slim, practice football, go to training, and be ready for training. I turned 18 though, I needed money, I needed a job, and all my pals were going on nights out or out for dinner. I was borrowing from my mum and dad. I knew they'd give it to me, but probably weren't happy doing it, and I wasn't happy taking it, so I needed a job, and luckily I got one. Says it didn't take my focus off, because on my lunch break I went to the gym. He was working at Hannan Park, which I think again is really well known now, but he says all the facilities were there, so it meant I could go to the gym. Kept on focusing on football, and obviously paid off in the end. But he says as well, I did apply for a couple of uni courses by the January or February of the season. I knew at the end of the season there's going to be at least 2 options of full-time football though. He says, I knew I could put that on the back burner. I was at least going to have a crack at it, maybe get 1 year of full-time football and see what happens. It obviously turned out a lot better than that.
Just a bit.
It's mad though, isn't it? Because I reckon there's like loads of lads sort of on that cusp where they could make it, and it's just about maybe getting a bit of a break or showing a bit of determination. I mean, sure you went to school with lads like this as well, but you know, there's lads I went to school with who were very good, some who sort of played semi-pro, played League of Wales, you know, were at Liverpool, were at Everton, got rejected. Loads of them, when they got rejected, just sacked it off. At that point, just went, okay, if I can't play for Liverpool, that's it, I don't want to play football, and just got into like drinking, girls, nightclubs, and all that kind of stuff.
I think that seems to be the theme when you talk to anyone about the players that were best at your school, best in your county, you know, even lads that you played against in leagues and stuff when you were younger, that, you know, if you asked what happened to them, it was they get to 16, 17 and they realise that they can go out, you know, there's girls, there's this, there's that, and usually drinking, especially back home, like, that's the thing, and it's sort of, you know, for the likes of Andy there, you can see that he's got this like perseverance, that these were the things in the background of his life and not in the foreground, and that, you know, he concentrated his football even when it was difficult for him. And he's reaping the rewards now. But yeah, I think it feels like that's the thing that you always hear when you think of the lads that you played with when you were younger, that they just like got to 16, decided they like going drinking and going out and stuff, and that's a bit sad. But yeah, it makes you wonder how many there are now that have, you know, not even, because yeah, I'd love to see whether Andy Robertson was his best player in his year when he was 15 or 16. He probably wasn't. Do you know what I mean? If he was, he'd maybe be playing up top, he'd be playing in midfield further forward. It's just that some players have it within them to work harder, and they have the perseverance. Yeah,
strength of character, mental strength and that kind of stuff. And I think it's, you know, we've talked about it before, but it's no secret that Liverpool seems to have a lot of players with those characteristics at the club, and that's why we're reaping the rewards, and that's why we are where we are in the league and challenging for the title. Other news then, obviously the Reds are off to Spain. That's been all over the news, to another warm weather training camp, which is nice. Quite fancy that myself, to be honest.
Benidorm?
Yeah, not
Benidorm.
No, I'm not going to Benidorm. Too old for that shit. And it's just not for me. But yeah, Joe Gomez hasn't gone, which is a bit of a shame, because we could do with seeing him back in action. But there's been a little bit of a setback. We've obviously seen that in the news. Lovren has gone, and I think we're all sort of praying that he gets through that one and is available at the other side of it, because obviously Van Dijk can't play against Bayern Munich when we play that game in the Champions League round of 16. Not into that. We could do with seeing Lovren again though. Ian Ryan mentioned this on the second look video. It's a bit like, well, where's he gone? Do you know what I mean?
This seems to happen every single season, doesn't it? It seems to be, there comes a time when you think, right, we need Dejan Lovren now, and he's ill, or he's out for a couple of games. No one really tells you what. Like, I keep seeing him on Instagram with Mo Salah and thinking, lad, can someone let us know? Well, are you going to be playing against Bayern?
You're playing, lad. You're all right.
And especially considering the performance of the midfield at the weekend. Like, I was so excited by it, and you know, that three as a midfield, I was walking out the ground thinking these would be perfect for Bayern, and then I was reminded that no, Fabinho's probably going to go in centre back if Lovren's not back. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I want to see that fella back. And you know, a lot of people will discuss whether Matip and Lovren, you know, how confident are we going to be in those two with such a big fight of Champions League? But we have no, we have to be. We have no choice. So yeah, I'd like to see him back. I'm a little bit worried about Joe Gomez, to be honest, because we were told that it'd be around now or a couple of weeks ago that he'd be back, and usually with these kind of things, if they're going to have an operation that was unexpected, it means there's been problems, and it means there's probably more problems to come. You know, at this rate, I'd be happy to see him back this season, really, because it usually feels like with this kind of injury that it's one that goes on and on and on.
It's a big shame as well, isn't it? Because he was playing so well, and you know, people talking about him being one of the best defenders in the country and things like that, and doing well for England and stuff like that as well. And yeah, it's been out since December the 5th now. So yeah, it is a shame, and it would be nice to see him again this season. And in terms of other players that we might see this season as well, Oxlade-Chamberlain's travelled to Spain. Hopefully he's likely to be available for selection in March, we're told, according to the report. And also Ryan Brewster's in the squad as well. He got ankle ligament damage back in January 2018. So it'd be good to see him, because there was a lot of talk around him, a lot of talk around, you know, was he going to sign that pro contract and all that sort of stuff. Klopp apparently rates him really, really highly, so it'd be nice to sort of get him involved as well. In terms of the Anfield Wrap then and stuff that we're doing, there is the tour of Ireland coming up fast, coming up soon. We can't wait to go. It's going to be a cracker. Ireland in particular has been one of my favourites to do with the Anfield Wrap, so really looking forward to our mini tour. So we're doing
3 nights and 3 days.
Dublin, Portlaoise, have we said it right this time?
Yeah, I think so.
And Galway. So yeah, really looking forward to that. I was having some scram with my mate Mrs, not like that, last night. She's from the Dublin area, and she was saying, yeah, you're going to have a great time, and how come you get to do this? And I was like, we just do, because it works, because it's great, because we have a laugh. So we're really looking forward to that. On the Anfield Wrap's tour player, loads of stuff there for you to listen to. The free show was out yesterday. James Pearce was on that. There's a clip of that somewhere in this. Is it going in the middle? Is it going
it's
at
coming
the end?
After this of Dan Austin talking as a belter yesterday. James Pearce was on it. Dan Austin was great on it.
There's a second look video as well that was out first thing this morning, so give that a watch. That felt like a good one to me. There's a review out there to listen to as well. Coach Home out there today. And don't forget as well that if you subscribe, and you know there is a bit of a gap now until Liverpool next play, there's lots of stuff to listen to that we've done in the past, so that you can access the archive of all the Anfield Wrap's old podcast. And lots of that isn't out of date, because it's reviewing old seasons, it's looking back at players that we loved, it's specials as well, getting into psychology, getting into mental health, getting into all aspects of football. So there's loads and loads of stuff to listen to on there. I'm saying to Craig this morning, you know, maybe we should push that a little bit more, because there's been lots of people that we've had in the studio, over the phone, being out to see, that were great stuff, great content, and you know it gets a bit lost because of the sheer amount of stuff that we put out. So maybe we need to sort of be pushing that to the fore a little bit more.
Not just the big names as well, because the one that when we're speaking to people, we're saying, oh, it's been Klopp and it's Robertson and Trent earlier on the season, but some of the best podcasts that we've done, the likes of the Damien Hughes ones that you were involved in,
they were great.
Psychology and football, Jamie Carragher on the art of defending, just loads of interesting stuff in there. So yeah, get on it. Yeah,
all where to go. And if you fancy a go and you're just kicking around watching the YouTube channel, go to our website and it explains all what we're doing there. So theanfieldwrap.com /subscribe if you want to have a go with the podcast. So nice one. That has been Talking Reds. We'll be back tomorrow as usual. Up the Reds.
And this is what we're in it for. Like, I completely understand people feeling nervous or feeling tense about this. But this is the part that we live for. This is why we support Liverpool. This is why we go to the match. We don't go to just have, you know, a bit of a nice day out with challenging for fourth, and hopefully we'll get a nice 2-3-0 and it'll be easy, and then we'll go out afterwards. It's for this. It's for this tension. This is why we exist as football supporters. So it's going to be really hard. We're not going to have Van Dijk for that Bayern Munich game, but the fact that we know that the crowd's going to be rocking, and I think the fact that it comes off the back of the atmosphere being a real positive against Bournemouth is really good, because I think what we can do now, although there is a small gap between the games, is through a combination of having Bayern, United, a night game at Anfield, and then a derby. I feel like the momentum of the atmosphere and the positivity and the determination and everything can just sort of carry through after that, because once you've done it for a month solid, no one stops, I don't think. I think it's brilliant that we've got this run now, although some people might say, you know, it'd be better if we had everyone fully fit or whatever, or if it was in a month, 6 weeks time when Chamberlain's back. But in terms of where the football team is at and where the support is at and everyone being on the same page, I wouldn't want anything other than this run right now. I feel so excited about it. And it could all go wrong. This could be the bit where we have a really poor result against Bayern, we look like we're going out, maybe we lose to United, maybe we struggle in the 2 games afterwards. This could be the bit where the whole thing sort of unravels. Or it could be the part where we go, we could do both of these. And we think the excitement level is big now, but it could be about to get even bigger, even more realistic, even more tangible, because there's only 12 games left. We were in the pub after the game the other night, and Craig Hannan just came up to me and said, Dan, there's 12 games left.
12.
And I went, you're lying. And he went, no, there's 12, and showed me the table. I was like, 12's not many, is it, Craig? And he went, no, it's really not. And it was that moment where it was like, we've known all season we're in a title challenge. We've known that it's realistic. We've had, a big gap at the table. We've had the bit where we were chasing Manchester City. But every week now, every result, whichever way that result goes, whichever way the City and Tottenham results go, it becomes more and more real. It becomes more, you feel it more and more. And the fact now that we have these games, which are some of the most important of the season, full stop, regardless of the context in which you play in them. But the fact that it's combined with this situation of pure intensity, pure passion, pure desire to get these things over the line, I think is fantastic. I can't wait for the next sort of 4 or 5 games.